All right, y'all, let's try this again. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another successful Sundays. I had a little bit of technical difficulty with the other link I had set up because my mic wasn't working. And I was like, this cannot be real. So I had to end that stream. We're back in this stream and let's get into it. We're going to take 3 deep breaths again for those of you who just hopped on and just watching this stream right here. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths, but you're going to hold it when you are inhaling and exhale it with a sigh, okay? We're coming out of your mouth, right? So in. Two more times in through your nose. One more time in through your nose. Perfect, perfect. Thank you for your patience right then and there. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're all good now. I wanted to really talk about burnout and the importance of burnout because more than we know, burnout is far more. It can happen and creep on us so much more simplistic than we think, and we don't pay attention to the symptoms. So we're gonna talk about how to identify it and also how to work through it. Those are the 2 things that we're gonna be doing today. And I wanna preface by saying that burnout is again, it happens very quickly, and when it happens there's a few key steps you can do, and we're going to talk about it as it is successful Sundays. A lot of people talk about reset Sundays. We're going to get into some habits that you could start obtaining and start like improve your day to day. So, first of all, what is burnout exactly? It's chronic stress, leading to emotional exhaustion and reduced productivity. So, have you ever found yourself going through a moment of just feeling unmotivated, not wanting to do it, or like continue the habits you have? Just feeling very blah, best way to describe it. Fatigue is kicking in. You're no longer you find yourself detached. You're not attached to the things that you probably once liked to do. You procrastinate a lot, and you're finding that also maybe I'm no doctor, but you may find some health issues kind of creeping in. And one of the things that I've learned when it happens to me all the time when it comes towards like burnout is I overcommit myself. I overcommit to doing things and showing up for people in many ways, and by overcommitting to that it's saying no to my own self and my own self-love, self-worth and self-care. You and with that you need to have boundaries. So in those moments of you sometimes overcommitting is just because you haven't set the boundaries for yourself yet. Where are you finally going to not cross that line? So, for example, on Sundays, typically Sunday for me is a rest day. I do things to fill my cup. I have a slow morning. I do things to honor my body, my soul, my mind, all of it, my energy. And they have also linked burnout to constantly chasing the perfection of everything, which if we now know perfection doesn't mean a damn thing. It don't mean nothing. Like trying to be perfect in everything that we do means little to no like it makes no sense, right? Because life is not perfect. In fact, in many ways, life is more worth living when you allow yourself the openness of your flaws, in an odd way, because it allows you to grow in so many ways. So let's get down to what burnout may look like to you, whether it's in your career or just even personally. So let's talk about like doing it all. When you feel like you have to do everything now, if you're a mom or if you're a dad and you're just you have a dependent you're taking care of to some degree, you may have this thought process that you have to get everything done. And what you need to find is like a balance. So if you find that there's not a balance between your life and the life of others that you have the dependents you're taking care of, you got to find that balance. Because right now, if you're feeling a bit of a burnout, it means you're off balance. There's an imbalance in your life that we need to kind of adhere to. We got to look at. And it could be that you're wearing too many hats. I purposely wear a hat today for symbolism of how many times I've put on so many hats to do things for other people in certain sectors versus setting boundaries with conditions so that I can also take care of myself, right? And what you could ask yourself is to kind of get to the point of setting the boundaries is what overwhelms you. It's good to, when we think about boundaries, I think we just go straight to the point of, okay, this is what I don't like and this is the boundary I'm going to set. But it's good to kind of take a scale and kind of do an audit of what are the things you like and what are the things you don't like. So what overwhelms you? When do you say yes and when do you really want to say no? Like when is the line you're not going to cross and you're going to say no? And what expectations feel unavoidable, right? Like what expectations feel unavoidable? Like what are some things you just can't do? Again, if you're taking care of dependent or if you have a certain type of job and it's unavoidable and there's not much you could do about it, but there's some gray area that you could kind of mesh with. Like what how can we do that to honor and protect ourselves? Now, let's talk about breaking the cycle because I know that's kind of like the meat and potatoes of this entire live in the first place. How do you break it? And honestly, it's practicing saying no. And it's gonna feel off for a bit, because A, you probably have said yes for so many reasons, especially it's tied to your people pleasing, which is something that you've been doing far before now. Far before now. So give yourself some grace in that category. But learning to say no, you could start with saying no by using the mirror, just saying no out loud. You could start to say no to yourself. And what I mean by start to say no to yourself, it's like, for example, if there's something that you kind of want, you're like, no, we're not going to do it. Do we really want it? Or is it like, do we need it or is it a want? Okay, no, we're not going to get it. And the more that you practice with the word no, the more it comes more as ease to you to say it to other people and mean it. And not in a disrespectful kind of way, but in a way that you're protecting yourself. Another way that you could also learn to like break the strategies of sorry, to break the cycle of burnout is time management tools. Learn to manage your time a bit better and also start scheduling the times for you. Don't just hold back and think like, okay, I can't put time into rest. I can't put a Sunday rest day for a few hours of me just sleeping in or having a slow morning with my coffee or my tea or just going out for a walk or hanging out with my fellas. You could still schedule those on a regular basis as well. And a technique you can use is the Eisenhower matrix. I've talked about it. And I want you to Google it right now if you haven't already. Google the Eisenhower matrix. It will help you break down the things that you need to focus on the most. So take a look at that. And there's four different quadrants where you could break down the stuff that's important, not so important, the stuff you could delegate, the things that are kind of like we can get rid of it, and then which is the distractions and the stuff that we could put on the next like couple months. We don't need to do it right away. So it's good to break down what's priority to you. And I kind of mentioned it before, but let's talk about rest for a moment. When we think about rest, I know some people think I'm just going to lay down, and that's cool too. But it's also important for you to rest your mind. This thing right here. And now you're going to lay down, you're going to grab your phone, you're going to start to scroll. Look, I do it too. Sometimes I have to remind myself this phone needs to go in my bedroom. We just need to put it and charge it in my bedroom, which is something that I do. I put my phone in my bedroom and I just leave it there. And I allow myself to just be for a moment. I allow myself to just listen to something else, a podcast like the Dope Life podcast, music, or an audiobook. I allow myself to just take a moment. I use other devices that I can't hold in my hand, that it's not quick in my hand, fit in my pocket. I put on something else and I allow myself to just be, or I just put it in there and I take a nap, or I just put it in there and stare out the window for a moment and just stare out into the clouds, stare into the trees, or I go outside for a quick little walk. There's other two like little things that you can do to just allow yourself to rest. You could do meditation. You can, again, I said screen breaks, nature walks. These things cost no money, but it allows you to just honor and take care of you, right? So when you think about like a burnout shield, okay, this is something I want you to write down. Now, if you haven't, I'm going to put it in the description so that you do this. Write out what two boundaries you'd like to set for this week, just two. One for something specific and one for yourself. Okay. Another one, I want you to think of two self care practices that you want to try for this week. Whether it's you want to try having a slow morning once a week, or you want to try like a certain class or something, just or you just want to rest and just lay down. That's cool too. Okay. That's nothing wrong with that as well. And one thing that you like to delegate or postpone this week. That is difficult because we feel like we got to do everything. But I want you to think of something that maybe in the next like 2 weeks that you can either give to someone else to do, delegate it to somebody else, or postpone it and push it back just to take that moment of the day to take care of you. Okay. And just make one actionable change this week. Like, for example, when I get home from my work, or if I am done my business on this laptop, it's closed and I don't touch it. I don't at a certain point. Typically, my cutoff time is about 7 p.m. It used to be 6, but things have been taken off. So I had to push it a little bit to 7 p.m. Now that means I sleep in a little bit longer, which is fine. But yeah, typically I cut off my day at 7 p.m. What is your cutoff time? And if you work from home, this is important for you. What is your time to say, yo, I'm not doing nothing at this moment? I refuse. I absolutely refuse. You feel me? So again, we went over a couple things, the definition of burnout, what it is. Then we also went over like how and like how we can identify it, like symptoms that could come up that we're probably not aware of because it could creep in. How we could have some strategies for the week to break the cycle, and how we could create a bit of a shield for ourselves, like a foundational piece for ourselves when to make sure that burnout doesn't come in and try to mess with us in any way, shape, or form. So I want to ask you, if you don't mind, in the comment, what is the one commitment this week that you're going to do to avoid burnout? What is one step you're going to take to avoid burnout? All right. All right. So I will see you not next week. If I will see you next week, I'll see you the week after. And I'm curious to know in the comments below, guys, like what are the things that you're going to do? Don't forget to check out the next episode of the Dope Life podcast. It comes out on Tuesday at 6 a.m. or 6:55 a.m. So it's about 7 a.m. I apologize. And again, I hope you all have a dope week. Hope you got some really good gems out of this live today. And always, y'all, walk with peace, walk with love.